Russian forces have made progress in their campaign to capture the city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, the focus of the war's longest ground battle. But the assault will be difficult to sustain without more significant personnel losses, and this is according to British military officials. The UK Defence Ministry says in its latest assessment that military units from the Kremlin-controlled Wagner group have seized most of eastern Bakhmut, with a river flowing through the city now marking the front line of the fighting. So what does this advance by Russia mean for the war? Major retired John Spencer, award-winning scholar, professor, author, combat veteran, and chairman of Urban Warfare Studies, Madison Policy Forum, is now joining us to talk more about this development. Major, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Bakhmut is considered a small town with little military value, but has emerged as the site of the longest battle of the Ukraine war. Some argue it will be of little significance if Russia takes control. Do you agree with the critics?
I agree. Zero to little military, tactical, operational, strategic value. Bakhmut became a political objective for both sides, with one side needing a victory since Russia hasn't had a victory in over half a year. And Ukraine, of course, not wanting to lose any ground, but Ukraine also made Bakhmut a political fight when the president visited, when they say that Bakhmut is to fight for Ukraine. But the battle definitely gives Ukraine the ability to destroy Russian forces since they don't care about the Russian soldiers' lives.
Major, isolated from three sides with only one road still open for the Ukrainians to bring in supplies and reinforcements, the fall of the beleaguered city seems a matter of time. What impact will that have on the supply of weapons to Ukraine?
Zero impact. I mean, it is, most of the world recognizes what Bakhmut is. It's a battle that didn't need to happen, a battle that Russia wants to happen. Mainly all the different voices in Russia, like Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner group, who took him 7 months to claim half of a city of only 70,000. That's not going to be a victory. Although Russia's going to say they have some victory, they're going to rule the rubble since they've destroyed every building in this city. And like you said, Ukraine has a way out right now, so they'll make a decision. If they do, I'm not so sure, since even the commander of the land forces visited just recently, that the Ukrainians have made a decision or will make a decision soon. I think we're still at a tipping point in the city of Bakhmut.
Major, what do you tell those who say that the capture of the city has become a prestige issue between the army and the Wagner group?
I mean, I think that's true. This started, months and months ago with Prigozhin wanting to say, hey, look, the Wagner group achieved a victory when the Russian military hasn't. But he's losing hundreds of people a day, almost 30,000 dead. This shouldn't be viewed as a military victory in any sense of the word, of what the price was that Wagner and then the Russian military had to be added to this, and they still haven't taken the city. So won't be, if it happens, it won't be a victory for sure.
President Zelensky has vowed to hold Fortress Bakhmut, yet it is likely that the Ukrainians will eventually withdraw to better defensive positions in the west to preserve their troops. What do you make of that observation?
I mean, I think it is, as I study battles across the history of time, it shows the political value that urban battles can have, and that President Zelensky says he'll hold it, and I think that means that there is a chance that he'll still be able to hold it, even if he does pull back just to the outside of the city. If the Russians take Bakhmut, it's not a stepping stone to more territory in the Donbass, to important cities like Kramatorsk or Izium. It's just a piece of ground that is Ukraine that they fall back to, really defensive lines. And I think the Russian forces, whether Wagner or the military, are culminating, and if they do take the city, it'll be the last thing they can do.
Major, let's flip the coin a little bit. What would the capture of the city mean for Putin and his troops?
Maybe it would be a morale boost, since they have had no victory in over half a year. Soldiers need victories. They need positive things. The generals don't visit the Russian troops. Putin's never visited the troops. in the front line. President Zelensky, all the lead commanders have been all the way up to the very front of that line. It would be a morale boost to some Russian forces, and it would be a major, communications nugget that they would use and across all their news, saying they achieved this great victory of ruling the rubble.
Major, some have observed that both sides are nearing exhaustion. Should some kind of peace talks take place, the outcome of the Battle of Bakhmut will provide a definite leverage. Do you agree?
No, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I teach war, so I know that all war ends in a political settlement, but that can't be what some people have proposed, where Russia keeps everything they have right now. Russia, by international standards, by an overwhelming majority vote in the United Nations, is conducting an illegal war of aggression against Ukraine and is sitting on Ukraine land right now that is not theirs. So yeah, this ends in a peace negotiation. And yes, the amounts of ammunition that this is requiring, the global tax that this war is causing, is very high. But Ukraine is fighting for survival. Russia is fighting for conquest. So yes, there should be a peace negotiation. Ukraine is going to come at that negotiation table at a point of strength that has over 50 nations that recognize that it's a just war for Ukraine and an illegal war for Russia.
Major, let's talk about China and its muted support for Russia. Some say China is likely to provide weapons, even though that will cross the red line and change the complexion of the war. Is there a possibility of that happening, and what will be the repercussions of that?
Yeah, I think it is a possibility. I mean, although the United States and many others, like at the Munich Security Conference, cautioned China not to do that because it would change the global aspect of this war already. If China provided any lethal aid to Russia, it would change a lot of things in consideration. I personally hope that that doesn't happen, and China doesn't need to back Russia's war crimes and genocide. And China has a lot of vested interest in maintaining its current status quo relationships, even with its own territories. It would be a really bad thing. It wouldn't have a tipping point in the war, I don't think, because even speculation on what China might provide, things like drones or artillery rounds, wouldn't tip the balance, but it would change the environment of the war, as in who are supporting right now. North Korea, Iran, already known negative actors on the global stage. If China, which I just don't see the calculus of China, why China would do that.
Let's talk about the realities of the war right now, Major. War weariness is also telling on other European nations, and the calls for a ceasefire are coming in from many quarters. Have you observed the same, and what does that outlook mean at this point in time?
Yeah, absolutely. I have seen that. I mean, this is causing everybody around the world some type of tax on the globe for what Putin views as are his own interests. I believe that there should be a ceasefire. There should be a pullback of Russian forces back to the internationally recognized borders of sovereign Ukraine. And this is why I think the support continues. Whether you believe in the fight or not, you should believe in the global international order on sovereignty and everything that was created after World War II that says you don't just get to erase a country's identity because you think they shouldn't exist. There is sovereignty. So I think there should be a ceasefire, and Putin could do that tomorrow. He has that much power over his own country that he could say, I won, we're pulling back. I liberated some Russians, which is false, but he could end this tomorrow. So I think the globe and all the global leaders should be, to include India, encouraging Russia to seek some type of ceasefire and stop of the illegal war in Ukraine.
Finally, Major John Spencer, I want your insights and inputs on this question. Do you think the war will end eventually, and how much time will it take for it to end?
Yeah, I would make a lot of money if I really knew. all war ends eventually. Whether it freezes, like a North Korea, South Korea situation, and there's a DMZ established between the two, nobody knows what the end of the war is. It can't continue at this pace. Some people will speculate it will go on for years. Will Putin, as long as Putin is in power, always want to erase Ukraine as a nation? Of course. But I think this goes on for months and not years. Neither side had the capacity, even though Russia has a lot of people, it has already shown it doesn't have the capacity to continue a war at this magnitude.
Okay. Major retired John Spencer, award-winning scholar, professor, author, combat veteran, and chairman of Urban Warfare Studies, Madison Policy Forum. Thank you for your insights and for talking to WION World is One today.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.